Welcome to Time Slice, where we cut through time one day at a time. Today is August 1st, and it's a date full of milestones. From measuring the world in meters, to breaking Olympic barriers, to the day MTV first hit the airwaves. And yes, Anne Frank's final diary entry was today as well. Let's slice into August 1st. Imagine trying to explain inches, feet, and furlongs to someone who's only ever used centimeters. Pretty confusing, right? Well, that's exactly what revolutionary France was thinking in 1793, when they officially adopted the metric system. Meters, grams, and liters. Logical, clean, and designed to make sense. Today, nearly the whole world uses it, minus a few holdouts still clinging to inches and gallons. We're looking at you, USA! Let's be honest, does the metric system actually make more sense to you? Or are you still clinging to inches and pounds? On this day in 1834, the Slavery Abolition Act finally kicked in across the British Empire. Over 800,000 enslaved people were legally freed, a massive shift in human rights. Of course, it wasn't perfect. Many were forced into apprenticeships that looked a lot like slavery. But this was still a turning point, a crack in the system that would eventually shatter. If you've ever wondered when the Oscars first started tracking who gets the gold, well, it was today, back in 1927. August 1st became the earliest eligibility date for the very first Academy Awards. And just like that, the road to red carpets and emotional thank you speeches began. The Berlin Olympics opened on August 1st, 1936, and Adolf Hitler expected a propaganda win. He wanted to prove Aryan supremacy on the global stage, but instead, Jesse Owens, a black American track star, ran, jumped, and dominated, winning 4 gold medals. One man, 4 events. Global humiliation for Hitler. Absolute legend. It's small, it's boxy, and built like a tank. The Jeep was officially born today in 1941. Just in time for World War II, it became the workhorse of the battlefield, and later, the king of the off-road trail. From war zones to camping trips, it's still rolling strong. On back-to-back August 1sts, Harlem erupted in riots. In 1942 and again in 1943, racial tension, police violence, and wartime stress boiled over. These were not isolated events. They were early alarms in America's long fight for civil rights. History doesn't always whisper. Sometimes it shouts. August 1st, 1944. Anne Frank wrote the last words in her now famous diary. Just 3 days later, her family's hiding place was discovered by the Nazis. She was only 15, but her words have outlived empires. If you've read her diary, you know. If you haven't, maybe today's the day to start. With nuclear power rising fast, President Truman signed the creation of the Atomic Energy Commission today in 1946. It was the start of atomic oversight, balancing peace, power, and the very real fear of mushroom clouds. After a messy abdication by his father, King Baudouin was sworn in today as monarch of Belgium. Young and reserved, he led the country through modernization and more than a few political storms. Sometimes, leadership isn't loud, it's steady. Forget the grid. In 1957, a building in New Mexico became the first solar-heated commercial building in the world. Way ahead of its time. It didn't change the world overnight, but it did prove something simple. The sun works. 2 major headlines from today. Benin gained its independence from France, and Islamabad became the new capital of Pakistan. 2 nations, thousands of miles apart, both stepped into new identities on the same day. NASA's Mariner 6 passed just 3,400 kilometers above Mars, snapping and sending back close-up images of the red planet. No Martians, but the pictures were groundbreaking. Sometimes history is made one blurry photo at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll! That is exactly how MTV opened its very first broadcast at midnight on August 1st. The first video? Video killed the radio star. Pretty ironic. MTV went on to change music, fashion, and youth culture forever. What was the first music video you ever saw on MTV? On this day in 2000, doctors successfully implanted the Jarvik 2000, a battery-powered artificial heart. It didn't just beat, it gave patients a second chance at life. One step closer to science fiction made real. Would you trust your life to a battery-powered heart? Fashion, music, film, and football. This birthday list has range. Yves Saint Laurent, 1936, the French fashion visionary who revolutionized women's style. Coolio, 1963, rapper and cultural icon behind Gangsta's Paradise. Sam Mendes, 1965, the English director behind American Beauty and Skyfall. Nwankwo Kanu, 1976, Nigerian soccer star and Olympic gold medalist with a heart as big as his footwork. On this day, we remember Otto Heinrich Warburg, 1970, the Nobel-winning German scientist who helped decode the cell metabolism. Corazon Aquino, 2009, former president of the Philippines and symbol of peaceful revolution. In 1995, F1 legend Michael Schumacher married Corinna Besch. In 2009, actor Mark Wahlberg tied the knot with model Rhea Durham. And way back in 1976, actress Elizabeth Taylor divorced Richard Burton for the second and final time. Some love stories just need a sequel. Or two. And that's August 1st, a day of inventions, uprisings, breakthroughs, and voices that still echo today. If you learned something new today, hit that like button, tap subscribe, and be back tomorrow for more history, one day at a time. Until then, keep on exploring, right here with Time Slice.